Well, good afternoon and welcome to ABC4 News at 4 o'clock. I'm Lindsay Arts, live on location at the Utah State Capitol. It is day one of a 45-day legislative session. Well, lawmakers will tackle everything from taxes to child care to the judiciary. A lot of topics here on Utah's Capitol Hill. And lawmakers from both sides of the aisle tell me that their goal is to reduce the cost of living for Utahns. They say they want to deal with everything from taxes to housing affordability, but looming large today are some big changes we know are coming to Utah's judiciary. Now, proposals include expanding the state Supreme Court from 5 members to 7. Another proposal would add a special retention election for judges and upping the threshold to retain judges during elections. Now, Utah's House Speaker says this issue is bigger than the recent redistricting ruling that came down that went against the Utah legislature, which took months to get. Speaker Mike Schultz taking issue with the transparency of the judicial branch in general, saying he wants them to even create a website where every ruling, every decision from a judge in Utah would be posted online, so Utahns, and in particular they too, could get information, look for patterns in judges' rulings, things like that. Now, our Bayon Wang has been covering today's issues with the judiciary as all 5 Supreme Court justices were on Utah's Capitol Hill today to give the State of the Judiciary address. Bayon, was any of this tension discussed in today's State of the Judiciary?
Well, Lindsay, that's exactly what we're listening closely into to see whether that tension between the judicial branch and the legislative branch was going to be addressed. And yes, Chief Justice the Chief Justice Durant essentially addressed that tension, saying that he recognizes that the tensions are high between both branches of government, but that he believes if they come together, if they have confidence in each other's branches, that they can find some common ground. And this comes as Utah lawmakers have been frustrated with court rulings, particularly on redistricting, gerrymandering, and abortion. Amid all of this, critics say that legislators have had a desire to exert more control over the courts, leading to bills that challenge judicial independence, while the courts have made it clear that they will defend their constitutional role. Lawmakers have been moving towards expanding the state Supreme Court from 5 justices to 7 justices in an attempt that is supported by leadership, but viewed by critics as a form of potential retaliation. Critics say lawmakers feel like judges are overstepping their role, resulting in legislators trying to pass laws to influence court decisions through legislation.
There can and should be substantive disagreements, both within our respective institutions and between them. These disagreements are to be celebrated, and valid criticism should always be welcome. The problem comes when we cross over from substantive disagreement to personal attack, to attacks on motive, integrity, and good faith. This erodes public confidence in our institutions.
Durant went on to say that in 2025, the state Supreme Court's caseload returned to normal and they're essentially no longer facing a backlog. Lindsay, I'll send it back over to you.
Yeah, Bayon, thank you. A lot of tensions there to address between the judicial branch and the legislative branch, but it appears that at least the Republican supermajority here at the Utah State Legislature sort of has a plan in place. Now, I had a chance to sit with Governor Spencer Cox because, of course, all of these bills that are passed here at the Utah legislative session have to get through him first. And we talked about this tension with the judiciary. Now, he says he supports the idea of the expansion of the state Supreme Court. He denied that it was any sort of court packing. He said that, Republicans have been appointing justices for decades here in Utah, and this is no different. But he only supports that expansion, he says, if it comes with more resources for the lower courts, those district court judges, the appellate court going to expand as well. And so those are also proposals that we're seeing. Now, when it comes to retention election for judges or potential special elections, if the legislature deems judges were unfit, bit. This is where the governor seemed to take a little bit of issue with, saying that he thinks it might not be necessary because of the impeachment process.
We've made lots of changes already to the judiciary. This is one of the mistakes the legislature makes all the time, is they try to fix a problem and then they don't allow the fix to actually happen. We've already made changes that are changing the judiciary. I'm wary of others. Obviously, I will look at those changes and see if I feel like they're the right kind of thing that will make it better. The legislature already has, if they have a problem with the judge, they have the option to remove a judge. They can impeach a judge. I don't know why we need to add another layer to that.
So my full interview with Governor Spencer Cox, of course, will air at 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Sunday inside Utah Politics, which I host this week. We'll also have other lawmakers on that program talking other issues. I also talked with the governor about plans to cut the income tax, property tax proposals, and the gas tax proposal as well. Some of those things he didn't think, at least the income tax cut, didn't think was a good idea in his initial budget proposal, but we'll see if that changes throughout the session. Now, I do want to tell you, coming up at 5 o'clock tonight, we're going to have a live interview with State Senator Mike McKell. He is proposing a potential social media tax. We're going to talk to him about how he plans to hold social media companies accountable. And then I will also tell you, Sarah, that I did talk with Governor Cox about one thing I feel like no one has asked him yet. He's talked a lot about the fact that he's not running for president, but has anyone ever asked him whether he could be on a vice presidential ticket? You know, Sarah, that I'm not shy about asking these questions, so I did just that. 6 o'clock tonight, you'll have to find out what Governor Cox says. I'll send it back to you.
A lot to discuss. Our Lindsay Aerts live from the Capitol. Lindsay, thank you very much. We will check in with you later.